I'm Gabriel Buelna with the Nonprofit Network, and the show is called I Have Something to Say. And who has more to say than the winner of Last Comic Standing, Felipe Esparza? Felipe, thank you for coming back for our second segment.
Thank you.
Now that you've won Last Comic Standing, tell me about some of the drama before you hit the top 10 in Last Comic Standing. Were you always as welcomed with your email responses? Any harassing email?
Oh, just a bunch of bloggers, people who write about television. They were saying stuff like, "Oh, I can't believe the Mexican made it through," or "I can't believe this guy made it through. We can't understand what he's saying. He mumbles, can't enunciate." But they're probably not watching right now, but they could understand. Last Comic Standing winner.
The W for winner, right?
Yeah. If you turn it upside down, it's for Mexican.
Oh, okay.
Or backward Eminem.
Okay, backward Eminem. But let's go to the issue of racism, because in here in the United States, we really don't talk about racism that Mexicans, Latinos, that we experience. So you did experience some racism throughout this process.
Most of the racism was just emails by probably 13-year-olds or 15-year-olds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or 51-year-olds.
Or 51-year-olds. I doubt it for the 51-year-olds. Those guys will just those guys rather just change the channel.
What type of auditions do you do now?
I do a lot of auditions for Latino roles, but I never get them. It's usually between the guy who gets it and me.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of discrimination in comedy, but they don't tell you they're being racist, or they never come out and say they're being racist. They'll tell you stuff like, "Oh, we're not gonna hire that comedian because his comedy is too ethnic for our people." That's the word they use now. They don't use racism. They might use stuff like, "Oh, Felipe Esparza is a..." Actually, on one of the posts that I saw as the winner of Last Comic Standing, I swear I said, "Ex-gang member Felipe Esparza with his ethnic humor won Last Comic Standing," which is not really, my humor is not really, they call it ethnic because I talk about being poor, and I talk about issues that affect me, but it's not really, they always say that he's just an ethnic comedian. Or when they interview another comedian who's not Latino, who's black, they never say African American comedian Eddie Murphy or Jewish comedian Seinfeld. No, they always say Latino comedian Felipe Esparza. We always get labeled first as the race instead of the artist. It never could be Last Comic Standing winner Felipe Esparza. It's always Latino comedian Last Comic Standing. They always got to label us first to let everybody know he's an ethnic comedian.
So I think what you're saying, not I think you're saying it directly, is that as a Latino, you do face discrimination.
Yeah. We don't face it as discrimination because they replaced the word discrimination with something else. I don't know. I can't find the word yet, but I'm pretty sure I'll find it on Fox News.
Now, Mr. O'Reilly, he's willing to go on. Now, how have you been able to fight against that? You don't win Last Comic Standing, Felipe, without simply being extremely aggressive.
Well, what I do is I change the words around to protect the innocent. Like a lot of black comics were talking about, Mexicans be having a car that's a restaurant. Mexicans can turn a station wagon into a restaurant, which is true.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, but see, how can you change that and make it so everybody can understand what these guys are talking about? So what I did was, I said this on Last Comic Standing. I live in a real bad neighborhood. A new restaurant just parked in front of my house. Now it's not an ethnic joke. It's a great joke.
Right. And what's interesting, going back to I think on a network that they're doing in Los Angeles a show on food trucks, which in LA, what do we call them? Taco trucks. Taco trucks.
We started that, people. All those other trucks, grilled cheese. Get the hell out of here with that crap. Kobe steaks, Korean tacos. I accept.
We're all right with
we're
that. Yeah,
okay
we're
with
all
that
right
because it's still a taco truck. But people are getting out of control, man. Like everybody's jumping in the taco truck bandwagon, calling it the Roach Coach, which is the original name for a taco truck.
Right.
It's a Roach Coach.
But we didn't bring that up.
We didn't bring that up, eh?
Right.
We just brought the horn. Ta-na-na-na, ta-na-na-na, ta-na-na-na-na.
But that's for the donuts.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what's your inspiration for your comedy? What drives you?
My really drives my comedy is that growing up as a little, I was always the funniest, and I basically ran out of things that I wasn't good at.
Now, you know, people look at you, Felipe, and you are funny. And if you don't like it, oh well. And they'll say, oh, you know, he's not, not that I'm saying that, but, you know, he's not a smart guy. He's just funny. You know, and you look what it takes to do. I'm sure you've gotten that. What does it take in terms of the work to be successful like you are?
Well, it takes a lot of perseverance, a lot of suffering, and a lot of not giving up. Because a lot of people look at me and say, well, this guy doesn't look smart. But see, the problem is that people think that someone that looks smart has to wear glasses and have pens right here and hold a remote control in his hand or playing video games on his computer. You know, it's like just like the Bible. You know, what's his name? What it smelled like? This guy smelled like ass probably. John the Baptist. John the Baptist probably smelled like ass, looked like a caveman, but he was there sending a message for God. And most of the messages that we get are not from the people you expect them to come from. You know, like people don't see and expect this guy to be smart or articulate, and that work came out good on. But you know, if you work really hard and study and know what you want to do in life, you could be great. That's what I am. I might not look the part, but I'm still the last comic standing winner. That's my evil laugh.
Felipe, you said something very important. And basically, you said I work hard. Okay, and that's a lot of people when they're thinking about doing something, whether it be a restaurant or going to college or starting their own business, whatever it is, and they would say, well, you know, God, I'm gonna go do it. And what you're saying is that you've been at this for 16 years. You said that you've been discriminated. You've said that people have not thought that you were the brightest. But at the end, you designed your comedy on Last Comic Standing to be smart. And that I think is an important lesson, which takes me to, you have 3 children, correct?
Yeah.
How has this affected them?
They're very happy. It affected them a lot. They're very proud of their dad, even though I don't see them that much, but they're happy.
Okay. Are you a role model to Latinos?
I am a role model for anybody that has ever tried to do something with their life and gave up, and then tried to do it again, and then gave up again, and then tried again to finally succeeded. Like, I always wanted to be a comedian since I was a little boy. Since I was 12, probably. I wanted to be a comedian. Like, I wanted to do stand-up comedy. But then I got hooked with drugs and alcohol very young. And then by that time I was 20, I was an alcoholic, drug addict. And I gave up on my dream, you know. And then somehow I came back again when I was 24. And 16 years later, I became the last comic standing. So I'm two ways. If you have a dream, don't give up on it. Because this should have happened to me when I was 25. But I didn't give up when I was 25. I kept going, and it happened to me in my 40s.
What got you out of drugs and alcohol?
What got me out of it was fear of getting killed in my neighborhood. Like, I was bad. But then my mom, she spoke with Father Greg Boyle, and he came to my house and we spoke, and then he just took me, he helped me.
So Father Greg Boyle of Homeboy Industries, which we interviewed.
Yeah.
But let me the last question. Actually, there's two more questions. Your father. You talk about your father a lot in your comedy, but you don't talk about your mother. Why your father, not your mother?
I don't know. I think my dad is just funnier. I mean, my dad doesn't, cause see, my mom is funny, but my dad does funny things without trying to be. Like, my dad's weird, man. Like, I'll tell you, my dad was walking around the house barefooted, and then he sat down next to us, and he was dusting his feet, and he looked at my brother and said, "Hey, you two, go get a broom, sweep the floor. I feel dirt on my feet." And then my brother are sweeping, like making fun of him. Well, why don't you put on shoes? What are you, an Indio? Is that what we came to America for you to walk barefoot everywhere?
So little by little. Now let's
Pata rice.
your brother. You brought up the fact that your brother is gay.
Yeah.
Was that planned? Was that controversial? What's his opinion on that? Was he okay with it?
Oh, he couldn't wait to for me to say that joke. He loves that joke. And that's another thing too. No one had ever talked about it on national television about, especially Latino, to have a brother come out of the closet to really talk about that on television. No one ever did that.
So he was okay with it before, or did he know?
Yeah, he gave me the pink light.
Give me the pink light.
He said, "Run with it."
Well, that's important because people want to know, is Felipe insensitive, and I guess not.
Yeah. He loves that joke.
Now you have a movie. What's this movie?
This movie is called "I Am Not Like That No More." Is based on my stand-up comedy. My brother comes out of the closet on the movie, just like he did on my jokes.
Yeah.
And Paul Rodriguez plays my father, an ex-wrestler.
An ex-wrestler. Now, can people go see this movie? Where is it going to be on Netflix? How can people see you in that movie?
Well, the only way to see me in that movie is to actually be there today to watch it, which ain't gonna happen. And the other way to see it is wait till it comes out on DVD and buy it from somebody outside Food for Less.
Okay. Now, again, what's your website, Felipe?
My website is www.felipesworld.com, but also have a new comedy album. Believe it or not, 3 weeks ago I was unheard of, but yesterday I made it all the way to the top 19 comedy album on iTunes.
Excellent.
Rebound material. Rebound.
Now, Felipe, is there anything that you would like to say to the people out there?
This guy looks like Snorks. Nah, just kidding.
Anything to say? Come on.
I will say, say it again.
Is there anything that you would like to say to the nonprofit world, people working in nonprofits, people looking at your inspiration, young Latinos, people that look at you and say, you know what? What is Felipe telling me from his corazón?
Listen, man, like most of you people who work nonprofit, you're working a thankless job. All right, that's it. And you do it from the heart. You do it because you love it. Nonprofit means you're not gonna make no money out of it. All you do is get big smiles. So from the bottom of my heart, if you work nonprofit, I love you and keep doing what you're doing.
Felipe, thank you very much. To the nonprofit world, today we heard from Felipe Esparza, and we wish him good luck. Many would say that in the Latino community we don't support a lot of our Latinos, and today we say, Felipe, we wish you success, and we want everyone to buy his album, and we want to make sure that Felipe wins Last Comic Standing 3 more times. Thank you, everyone. Make sure to visit the Nonprofit Network. Post all your nonprofit jobs for free on the site. If any of you would like to email me with comments, email me at info@thenonprofit.org, info@thenonprofit.org. Thank you very much.
That is a wrap. That was fun.